All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. I am Lupagus, and today I'm going to talk about four Minnesota Vikings that in 2 years from now you'll forget ever even played for the team. It happens every year. I could go off and name a bunch right now, just on top of my head. Let's just go Jake Long, Brock Lesnar, Kendall Wright. These are players that make stints with the team, and it's time you're like, hell yeah. And then a couple years later, like, holy shit, I forgot those guys played for the Vikings. And I got four that you're going to feel the same way about from the 2020 season and a couple years down the road. The first is linebacker Ryan Connolly. This guy had kind of been seen as a special teams ace for the New York Giants. He did not make the team. Vikings, that was the one guy they snapped up after final cuts were made from another team. He came in, was supposed to be, add some depth at linebacker, be a special team standout. Well, our special teams were horseshit, and Ryan Connolly was on them. So he didn't really help that area very much. Finished the year with 6 tackles, played in 14 games. I don't expect him to come back, and I don't expect to remember he ever played for the Vikings in about a year and a half. Another guy, he could already be on the list that you say, okay, holy shit, I forgot he played for the Vikings. But you're going to forget that he came back for a second stint with the Vikings in a couple of years, and that's George Iloka. Yes, he returned to the team in 2020. He actually played in 4 games. He played very, very badly in that Houston Texans game. His play was pretty much what kind of allowed the Texans to creep back in that one. And he got hurt and was lost for the season. In Iloka's defense, it turns out he never even practiced at the position throughout the week. Was kind of forced in there when Harrison Smith got ejected. But man, he was horrible. He did finish the year with 6 tackles and 1 tackle for a loss. So he did play in 4 games, which was kind of surprising to see. But man, let's just say 3 years down the road, someone asked, remember George Iloka playing for the Vikings? You'll say, yeah, yeah, kind of. And then do you remember he came back and played again? You might be like, oh yeah, I forgot. So another guy you'll probably forget had 2 stints with the Vikings is George Iloka. We got 2 left on this list. And the next one is going to be wide receiver Taj Sharp. He was, I guess, one of the Vikings' big free agent signings in the offseason of 2020. Kind of looked at to be a veteran presence, help replace the loss of Stephon Diggs. I think he was kind of brought in as insurance in case Justin Jefferson didn't develop. Well, Justin Jefferson came in fully developed and a full-grown man and dominated the NFL. So Taj Sharp just wasn't needed. I think he was active like 1 game. The game Thielen was hurt. Came in 0 receptions. I think he had 1 target, like a shot down the field. He did not catch. It would have been a tough catch, but he is now released, and I think he is still playing because I believe he is property of the Kansas City Chiefs at this time. So Taj Sharp, thanks for the memories, but I will soon forget you. There is no doubt about that in my mind. And the last guy, this one might surprise a few people that he's on this list, but I guarantee you in a couple of years, once all the draft picks are sorted out and made, you'll forget Yannick and Gawkway was a part of the Minnesota Vikings. It was only 6 games. He had 5 starts. He had 5 sacks, 12 tackles. The sad thing is about Yannick was that he actually led the team in sacks this year with his 5 in those 6 games. That's just how bad the Vikings pass rush was. I give the Vikings credit for realizing, we're not going anywhere this year. We're 1-5. We're not going to be able to resign Yannick and Gawkway. Let's move them for wherever we can get. And they got like a third. I can't remember for the 3rd and 5th or just a 3rd for him. But anyway, they got something back from giving up the 2nd-round pick to get him. And while there's going to be draft fallout this year and everybody's going to be stinging and hurting and clamoring to get that 2nd-round pick back, down the road, Yannick and Ngakway's time with the Vikings will be a fuzzy memory, just like a drunken Friday night with the Lupagus. So Yannick and Gawkway, Taj Sharp, George Iloka, round 2, and Ryan Connolly are all 4 guys you'll forget in probably just a year and a half. Forget they ever played for the Minnesota Vikings. One thing you better not ever forget is to keep your skull in your hole.